My gosh, anime fans have such taste. Oh, hey there. I was just going over the Netflix engagement report for the first half of 2025, and it has proven two very important things to me. The one, yes, anime is growing in massive, massive amounts, and I mean, that's definitely shown in the fact that Netflix came out recently and said that 50% of its users, global users, are watching anime. Whether we can take that number for anything, I don't know. Is it how many people clicked on a show before they turned it off immediately after? We don't know because Netflix doesn't want to tell us everything. But yes, the other thing that it proved to me was, yeah, anime fans have taste. But that's okay because to each their own, right? But yes, like I said before, Netflix has released their first half of 2025 engagement report. I really enjoyed going over the engagement report they had released last year, and so I thought I'd go through it once again and kind of dig through the numbers, give my thoughts on it and everything. First off, let's talk about what the engagement report is. Today we're sharing the latest engagement report highlighting what Netflix members watched from January through June of 2025. Watch time or engagement is our best indicator of member happiness. When people watch more, they stick around longer and recommend Netflix to others. This report, which captures 99% of all viewing in the first half of 2025, shows that people watched a lot of Netflix, over 95 billion hours, spanning a wide range of genres and languages. It's why we continue to invest a variety of quality titles for various moods and tastes and work hard to make them great. Here are some highlights from the first half of 2025. The only thing that we really care about, because, hey, we're anime fans, we're not normies here, is the fact that, yes, for anime specifically, as soon as I can find it, Netflix is a destination for anime fans, with audiences watching new series like Sakamoto Days Season 1, 24 million, beloved franchises like Naruto, 45 million across all seasons, and classic films like Studio Ghibli's Spirited Away, 6 million, and Howl's Moving Castle, 6 million. Pretty crazy stuff there. We won't be going over the movie specifically, but this is showing what their highest ones right now, which is Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle. Let's actually look at the data, because there's some really cool stuff in here, some very unfortunate stuff in here too. Scrolling up. First things first, number one for all anime on the Netflix platform, Sakamoto Days Season 1, without a doubt, dominated at number 39 of the entire listing of all the properties on the platform. Absolutely insane. Congratulations to the group that put that together. But yes, for those who don't know how this actually works, they take the total watch hours on the entire platform, and then they divide it by the runtime of the show itself. And that gives them basically an idea of how many viewerships it got. The best way to kind of think about it is like, it has 24 million views for Sakamoto Days. Think of it as 24.4 million people watch the entire show. Now, that's not going to be the case. There's going to be people that watch the first episode and they drop it. There's going to be people that watch it multiple times, such and such. It's just kind of a simplified view of the total viewership to kind of compare it with everything else and to put them all on an equal playing field. I wish that they would give unique viewerships. That would have been so much more easier to kind of tell what's been watched multiple times, because it's not like there's that many new people watching Demon Slayer Hashira Training Arc. There's no reason why that many people is still watching Demon Slayer Hashira Training Arc specifically right here. But no. Either way, that's really amazing for Sakamoto Days. Now, I can easily explain why there's such a massive difference between Sakamoto Days and anything else anime related. And that is, one, yes, it was globally released. It was released in America and everywhere else on Netflix. This is the place to go watch it. And this is the only place to go watch it. Two, yes, they simuldubbed it. Day one, it had at least an English release for it, and that made it very, very easily accessible for a global audience. So it wasn't just everything else here is going to be Japanese with English subtitles, if anything, or whatever subtitles you need. So that made a massive, massive difference there, that the availability and the accessibility of Sakamoto Days was just there. It was ready to go. Everybody's watching it. It was just a very easy to consume. And then, yes, probably last one is, there was a lot of advertisement for it. They were pushing Sakamoto Days very, very hard. So it being 24 versus like everything else being 7 and below, it doesn't shock me too much. They put a lot into making sure that Sakamoto Days was hugely successful from day one. Yeah, I guess there's also the fact that it was a very beloved manga beforehand that kind of had a lot of hype behind it as well, but that's my explanation for why that did so well. Honestly, Sakamoto Days is a testament to really how well you can do if you have everything ready for everybody day one. If you're a dub watcher, English dub watcher, if you're a subtitle watcher, availabilities on day and day with Japan, You line up all that stuff well, it does well. Look, Netflix, it does really well when you release shows when they release. Unlike Fragrant Flower Blooms. Anyways, that's it. That's number 1, though. Sakamoto Days did very well. Number 39 on the entire platform. Jumping all the way down to 209 on the platform is Magic and Muscles, which I'm assuming this is probably in line with the second season coming out. No, I think that was last year, wasn't it? Still doing very well. Really, really interesting to see Magic and Muscles doing still very, very well at 7.9 million. Then we have Apothecary Diaries Season 1 at 7.8 million, which is actually really, really incredible because, and I would assume a lot of this is probably people watching the first season before watching the second season. And yes, to note, this is only Asia. I think it recently released in the US, but they're still listing it as not global. So I'm not sure exactly if this is going to pull global numbers, if it's only going to be Asia numbers. But it's still incredible to have it that high, even though it's literally the show that was out last year. It was like January last year that was out. So really cool there. Dandadan still doing incredibly well. Again, this is a global release. It's also available on Crunchyroll. So it's not like everything is going to be on the platform. Now, to reminder for people, yes, that was technically the number 1 anime that was for the second half of last year. So it's still doing incredibly well, even now after being the top of the chart back there. Back then, it was 19 million viewerships on that one. Add into that another 7.5. So technically, Dandadan right here is still the dominant, but this is only viewerships for this first half of the year. So still cool stuff there. Soul Leveling still doing incredibly well, 7.4. Again, Demon Slayer still up here. The Spy Family still up here. My Happy Marriage Season 2. Surprised to see that doing that well. I didn't think it was doing that well, but apparently it's still holding strong. This is, again, another global release at 5.5 million views. Then we go to Apothecary Diaries. This is actually really, really interesting because, again, this is not a global release. This is only in Asia and Japan, and yet still 5 million. If anybody that watches my Japan ranking videos, you'll know that Apothecary Diaries in Japan dominates Netflix. Every single time Apothecary Diaries comes out, Apothecary Diaries is at number 1 almost every single week. It just does that damn well. They love Apothecary Diaries there. And literally every other platform that Apothecary Diaries is on, it's topping the charts in Japan. So it's not a big shock to me, even though the fact that it's not global is doing very, very well. But because it's only Asia and Japan, that would explain why it's not dominating as well as something like Sakamoto Days here. It just being in Asia and Japan at 5 million versus Sakamoto Days globally at 25, that's crazy. That's crazy. But anyways, yeah, other than that, we have, again, more Demon Slayer. Frieren Season 1, which was last year's release, doing very well. Again, not global. Dragon Ball Daima, again, that's not the global release. It's still Asia and whatnot, but it's still doing decently well at 4.1. I wish it did better. I wish it was doing better. It is what it is. We have Spy Family Season 1, 3.9. Dr. Stone Season 3, 3.8. One Punch Man, 3.8. Death Note is still up there, 3.3. Oh, man. And look at this. Look at this right here. Blue Box. Number 846, Blue Box. The number 1 romance anime of last year. Global release. On Netflix, 2.8 million. Wow. Better romance than Dangers of My Heart, right? 2.8 million global release on Netflix. Number 1 romance of all time, right? I hate that. I'm still bitter about that beating Dangers of My Heart Season 2. I guess somebody watched Blue Box on Netflix, and that was the only thing they watched that was romance related, so they had to... Anyways, it's fine, whatever. I'm not mad. But yeah, there's your number 1 romance anime, number 846 on Netflix at 2.8 million views. There you go. Rom 1/2, again, another global. I wish that was a little bit higher, but again, it sucks. But I guess a remake just not doing that great. I think it was doing decently well on the TV charts, but it is what it is. I like the new remake, so... Look at this. Cyberpunk Edge Runner's still up on the list. People still watching that. That's great. 2.5 million. And then Moonrise. I said this in my video for Moonrise review, and I'll say it again. This is probably the biggest flop of Wit Studio ever. This has... I don't know how much Netflix paid for this, but I would assume this probably costed Wit Studio quite a bit. So I hope that they got some good money from Netflix for licensing that out to them, because they didn't do well in, selling it, marketing it, and getting it out there because it doesn't look like really much anybody watched it. I didn't see any advertisement for it. It sucks. 2 million. 2 million for a massive property. That show visually looked incredible, so they had to have dumped some production on it. Oof. Massive oof right there. I watched it. Unfortunately, it's one of those shows where it's hard to recommend to people because you have to get to like 9 episodes before it gets good. But it looks good. It looks good. Rip Moonrise. Rip Moonrise. And then we have the last one I want to talk about. Orb. On the movements of the Earth. 1.9 million views. I have no faith in anime fans anymore. I really don't have any faith in anime fans anymore. Literally the most compelling story of the entire year on Netflix, and nobody watched it. I was really hoping that... I know that I checked the rankings last year, and it wasn't doing that great. And I was really hoping that once we got into the second half, and finally some other big AniTubers started talking about it, I was hoping that it would bump it up. But it didn't see much of an increase. Looking back at what we had for last year's report, they had 1.6 million. So that's like a 19% increase. No, the runtimes including the whole thing, it went from total view hours from 9.6 million to 19.9 million, and they increased the runtime. So this is the whole thing. This is a whole year right here. Ugh. That's a whole year. They're including the whole year in that ranking. I was wanting some sort of excuse like, oh, maybe that's only half of it. Maybe the numbers are wrong. Maybe it increased a little bit. How much? Nope. There's no answers. It's just nobody watched it. And well, 1.9 million views watched it. I was hoping a lot more than that. That sucks. Again, people don't want compelling and reading people jabbering on for hours on end. They just want an English dub of Boom Boom Punch Kicks Sakamoto Days. There's your viewers right there. There's 24.4 million viewership is to watch retired assassin guy beat the crap out of somebody with a pen, which I enjoyed, by the way. But I enjoyed horror way more. Again, people have taste. At least Japan's got good taste. This is all Japan viewership, and I think Orb was really good in Japan as well for viewerships. So I'd imagine that most of that viewership for Orb is probably Japan as well. But anyways, that's the engagement report from Netflix for the first half of 2025. I'll be back here later this year for the second half, and we'll see what interesting stuff pops up at that point. But always fun to kind of dig through these numbers and see what I sort of see the numbers meaning and kind of give you my thoughts on it. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as always. If you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content and want to support on more, become a member of the channel. But until next time, y'all take care.